Books, books. I like books. I'm gonna read them all. Hi readers, Chris here. Welcome to my channel where I review fantasy, Stephen King, all sorts of books, and today I'm going to be reviewing a science fiction book, Polar City Blues by Katharine Kerr. This book was actually recommended to me by one of my subscribers, Chris Sejar. Thank you so much for recommending this book to me. I do occasionally take recommendations from all of you. I don't think I've asked for any this year on YouTube, which means I'm probably going to be asking for some recommendations soon. But for today, let's talk about Polar City Blues. So real abbreviated setup of this book, we have a distant planet, this highly populated city known as Polar City. It's filled with mostly humans, but there's a ton of other life forms as well. There are robots and cyborgs and people that have psychic abilities. And in the beginning of the book, there is a murder. There is a murder, and the police officer has to pull in all of these different people to help him solve this murder. And of course, you know, as they dig deeper into the murder, they start to uncover all of this stuff, government conspiracies and alien races and all of this crazy stuff. So that's like a really basic setup. And normally I talk about world building, characters, and plot, but I think for this, I'm just going to tell you what I like about this book and what I don't like about this book. And I'm going to start with what I don't like first, because it's not even that I don't like it, quote unquote. I probably shouldn't even have said it like that. But when I first started reading this book, I did struggle with it a little bit. And that is because this book is written in a very unique dialect. So right in the beginning of the book, there is this author's note. And when I first opened the book, I kind of like glanced at it, but I didn't really like digest what it meant. And I'm just going to read to you like an abridged version of what the author note says. And it basically says that the dialect in the book is a fusion of White English, aka Standard English, Black English, and New World Spanish. So it's really interesting because when I first started reading this book, I struggled a little bit with the way that the characters spoke to each other, the dialogue. And I didn't really realize at first until I went back and referenced the note that that was done intentionally and on purpose. So I'd say the first, like maybe 50%, the first half of the book, that was a little jarring because it wasn't something I was expecting. And of course, it wasn't something that I was used to. However, I will say that by the time I got to the halfway point, I did get used to it and it didn't bother me as much in the second half of the book. But that's just something I want to warn you if you're going into this one. I really wanted to find out more about why the author chose to do that. Like, is that a representation of her heritage? Like, is she white, Black, and Spanish? I don't know, because unlike most books where there's like a biography or something about the author, there's nothing about the author in this book, which I found kind of weird. Like, there's no acknowledgments in the back. It's just blank. Nothing on the back of the book either, except for a quote. I did do like a very bare minimum search. I couldn't find much, but Chris or anyone else, if you have information about this author, let me know because I am very, very, very curious. So I will caveat and say that even though it started as a struggle, it kind of turned into a positive, because I think that any book that like makes you go out and search for more information is a good thing. The only other thing that I'll maybe put in the things I didn't like column is I do think that the story, for such a short book, the story was quite expansive, and it covers a lot of different things. And I do think some of that could have been reined in a little bit and made the story a bit more contained. That's not really a bad thing. That's just a personal preference of mine, I would say. I'm so used to like those big chunky fantasies that just go on and on and on. And there's a lot of space for that. But I feel like there wasn't space for that in this book. There wasn't space in the space book. Yes, I realize I just said that. So let's move on to the things that I did like, because there are a lot of things to like here. Number one is the characters. I've said this once, I've said it a million times. In order for me to like a book, the book has to have strong characters, and this one definitely does. There's a lot of great characters in this book. My two favorites are going to be this one character, Mulligan, who is one of the psychics that gets pulled into this investigation. I love how the book represented his psychic ability, both how he interacts with like regular people and how he interacts with other psychics. I thought he was a really cute character and he was really cool. And I do like how I feel like the author, and she does say this on the back of the book, she does say that the object of desire is male. And I don't know what it is about Mulligan exactly, but he does become the object of desire for a certain female character in the book, and I thought that that was really cute. So that female is my other favorite character, and that is Lacey. And Lacey is really the one that kind of takes center stage. I don't know if I would call her the main character or not, because I feel like a lot of the characters kind of get equal page time, so I don't even know if you could really say there's a main one. But if I had to pick, I would say Lacey is definitely one of the main ones, if not the main one. I always appreciate an intelligent, go-getter female character, and she is definitely that. But she's also not like to the point where it's annoying. She's just intelligent, she knows how to do her job, and she knows how to do it well. And then when it comes to the actual plot of the book, it is, again, because it's a short book, it's pretty fast-paced. They go through a lot of stuff, this investigation, which, the plot is all centered around. But it's full of anything that you could possibly think of from any classic sci-fi tale. This book really gives me, like, Blade Runner vibes, where you kind of have that futuristic city, but it's like dark and dirty, and there's drugs and hookers and bad guys and slums and all that kind of stuff. So if you are into that at all, you will definitely get all of those vibes from this book. So just to wrap this quick review up, the dialect was a little challenging at first, but it turned out okay. The world building could have been condensed a bit more, but not the end of the world. It's got great characters that are super fun, and it's got a fast-paced and exciting plot. So hopefully that will convince you or not if Polar City Blues is a book for you. If anyone else out there has read it, of course, I want to know. Let me know in the comments. Have you read this book? If you haven't, have you ever read a sci-fi that's typical to this? Something with a Blade Runner feel? Hey, if you've seen Blade Runner, let me know in the comments as well. As always, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not already, please subscribe to my channel for more book reviews coming your way soon. All right, everyone, happy reading.